Welcome back inside the janitor's closet. My name is Bryce Hunt, joined as always, lead football analyst, expert extraordinaire, Josh Frey-Sam. Josh,
Yes, sir.
uh, exactly 4 months ago, we kicked this thing off, and we have finally come to the conclusion of the regular season here. Week 18 of the NFL season, folks. If you blinked, you missed it. We have a lot to cover. We've covered a lot. Our best bet show for week 18 regular season. Obviously, all the incentives going on this week. We have teams playing for their playoff lives. We have teams playing for home field. We have a lot to get to. All that being said, we will have one play in our best bet show this week, as we did last week. And folks, let me tell you why that's okay, because we're 4-1 in the last 2 weeks for a total of plus 10.6 units.
No.
We've seen it in previous years. We're seeing it again. Josh Frey-Sam simply flat out gets it done down the stretch of this NFL regular season, and he's looking to keep that thing rolling here, Josh, into Week 18.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate the kind words, Bryce. But yeah, no, we are. It's nice to get back on rolling here, man. And with obviously the bigger unit plays as well, they've done well to us as we've seen down the stretch here. It hasn't been high volume for us. Usually we're used to the two, three, four plays, sometimes even more potentially on a given week. But we've kind of been learning a little bit from our mistakes. And we've been, as the years gone on here, we've kind of pulled back the reins a little bit, and it's been working in our favor. So that being said, we got one play. Hopefully, let's just get in, get out of week 18. I feel like I say that every single week, get in, get out. But this week, especially when you're talking about a week that is maybe a lot of people are looking at this as almost like a glorified preseason game, a lot of these, right? So hopefully we can get in, get our money, get out, and man, then it's playoff time, baby. So I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Yes, sir. And Josh, before we get into it, I want to ask you actually a question. We've seen a lot of headway, I mentioned, with these incentives. Maybe I don't know if it's the gambling world kind of blowing up with sports betting and everything, but it feels like there's a lot more people with eyes on these incentive numbers, some gaudy numbers out there. Guys are chasing the bag. How much? I'm sure a lot of our viewers are maybe looking to put some parlays together, maybe looking to kind of take advantage of some of those incentives. Do you have any words of advice on how aggressive to push these things? Uh, Kind of what are you looking at in these incentives? Is there really a good opportunity there, or would you maybe, say look at the team situation first?
Yeah, no doubt. I think that there's great opportunity for sure, because we've seen it in past years, and it depends on the team. You see, for example, the Eagles this year. I mean, Saquon Barkley is being rested here, but you see that that's an example of a team who, they're looking out for the well-being of the team instead of the player here in this case, right? And but you see a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, who have purposely in the past force fed certain players, whether it's a Travis Kelce or I think it was last year with Chris Jones, didn't need to play in the season finale, but Mandy Reid sent him out there anyways. You just need one sack to get his incentive, and sure enough, he got it. So just things like that. It depends on the team, but I do think there's absolutely opportunity here, and I would continue to be aggressive with a lot of these, like you see. But I think to your point you said about the situation, I think it's important to now more than ever to watch interviews, stay in tune with that, and see here maybe with reporters, beat reporters, to understand, what is the message or what's the tone coming out of the locker room in this particular week, because you got a guy like Baker Mayfield talking about how it sounds like he's just going to feed Mike Evans all game here, and it feels like this is going to be Mike Evans once again having another week where we are going to get him to the record of consecutive 1,000-yard seasons to start his career, and obviously again just another 1,000-yard season. And then you've got the likes of a guy like Geno Smith, who is going to be playing. He's obviously got big incentives there. So there's a bunch of different players, but I think it's all the more, what I'm trying to get at is it's all the more important to follow the beat reporters, or if you want to do the work yourself, watch the interviews, understand what the tone is coming out of the locker room, and see what players are saying, because that can kind of help you figure out as to whether or not these players who have the incentives this week, whether or not they're actually going to have a decent opportunity to actually go and hit those. So Mike Evans is a perfect example. His prop number is like, I think already jacked up like another 12, 13, 14, or whatever it is now, depending on the book that you're going by. So some of those could be a little bit tougher to get after, but the point is that there is absolutely an opportunity here with these weeks, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't probably going to go dabble in a couple of those myself.
Yes, sir. Well said. Well, if Josh does decide to dabble and feels confident enough to make that an official play, you can find it on Twitter. Follow us there at TJC Bets. Follow us right here on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave a comment down below. We appreciate your guys' support. Without further ado, Josh, we're heading to Nashville, Tennessee for our first and only play this week. We have the Houston Texans, Tennessee Titans to close up their season.
Yeah, man, this is a fun one, man. You always love to see the Week 18 divisional rivals going head to head. Of course, this one you kind of wish for a little bit more juice in some of these ones and just a little bit more, on the line maybe perhaps. But make no mistake, the play here is the Houston Texans first half line plus point 0.5, and the reason for that, Bryce, is because, as I just kind of alluded to, there is plenty on the line if you're a Houston Texans fan and the Houston Texans themselves. And not because of seeding wise. These guys are locked into their seeding. They're in the playoffs. However, the Houston Texans have lost their last two games. The offense hasn't really looked great for a lot of the season, and more specifically in recent weeks here. Joe Mixon train has kind of slowed down just a touch. Nico Collins we're not seeing getting involved as much. Obviously, Tank Dell got injured. Stephon Diggs has already lost. CJ Stroud is doing the best that he can with what is available to him, but that is still not that much. And so this Houston Texans team, as it's been reported out of the locker room, and D'Amico Ryan saying this, and even Nico Collins, some of the players and stuff like that, this is a get-right week if we've ever seen it. This needs to be a get-right week if we've ever seen it against a Tennessee Titans defense that has struggled in recent weeks, has really struggled down the back half of the season. This team, now more than ever, needs a little bit of momentum, just something to hang their hat on going into the playoffs here, the wild card round next week. And as a result, Bryce, I do think we're going to see all the starters playing, or whoever is healthy, of course, we're going to see them playing in this game. And this is going to need to be their moment here to really give it everything that they can to go out here and put on a good performance here on the road. Now, conversely, you got the Tennessee Titans, who are in the exact opposite spot of the Houston Texans here. With Tennessee Titans, whatever we hear coming out of the locker room, whatever the deal is, of course, players, coaches are going to say they're giving it their all. But let's be real here. The organization and their fan base wants them to lose this football game. They want the highest possible pick for Shadur Sanders or Travis Hunter or Cam Ward, whoever the top prospect is that's on their board. They want that person. And so the Tennessee Titans, I'm not saying that they're going to come out flat by any means. I'm not saying they're going to not try in this game. However, I just think when I look at this, there's a lot more to play for here for the Houston Texans than there is for the Tennessee Titans. And I think you're going to see a difference in compete level in this game as a result. If I go look now, just looking at some of the variables here, or some of the other little things that are important with this handicap, there is going to be a little bit of weather in this. There is a good chance of rain in this game. A little bit of rain here. Obviously, this is a dome team in Houston going on the road in Tennessee here, so that could be cause for concern for some people. Not enough for me to pull out this play and not make it a best bet. There's also going to be about 10 miles per hour of wind here, which isn't really enough to impact anything too severely. Now, we look at the injury report. Danico Autry, Foley Fatukasi are going to be both out on the Houston Texans defensive line. So that obviously hurts, especially with the way a guy like Tony Pollard is running. However, we'll see if he even plays. On the offensive line, Shaq Mason's not going to be playing. Jeff Okuda is also going to be out in the secondary there. So that is, and then you have the likes of Christian Harris, the linebacker, and Jamal Hill, fellow linebacker, who are reported as questionable here, but I kind of expect them to go in this one. Now, for the Tennessee Titans and their injury report, it is a little bit it's even lengthier. Tyler Boyd, Nick Folk, Amani Hooker, Arden Key, Otis Reese, Tajay Spears, Colton Dowell and Jalen Duncan, their offensive tackle, are all out of this game. Now, these are players that hold some key roles. And then you have the likes of Tony Pollard and Chigo Konko, who are questionable, are marked as questionable. Now, Tony Pollard was limited all week, and then he logged a DNP on Friday. Not a good sign. Chig logged a limited participation all week, logged a DNP on Friday. Not a good sign. So, two of their bigger offensive weapons could be out in this one, and not to mention one, perhaps the biggest news in all this, Will Levis is getting the start at quarterback here, which I would think bodes pretty well for us. But I'm not a Will Levis believer, at least not this year, anyways. But anyways, that is pretty much all, Bryce. And the last thing I'll mention on this is that the D'Amico Ryans has kind of talked about how while the starters are gonna start in this game. The regular starters are going to start in this game. Depending on how the game unfolds going into the second half, that's when we could start to see them kind of shift some guys. So again, that kind of furthers my point of I think D'Amico Ryans and this Houston Texans team, the offense specifically, want to get out to a good start, first, second quarter, and hopefully they're satisfied with their performance enough to where they can treat it again as like a preseason game and they're happy with what they got. They're promising performance, and we can just sit our guys in the second half, which is why we're not taking the full game spread here. So, Houston Texans first half, plus 0.5 for 3 units is the play here, and let's see these boys get hot out of the gate and get a fast start here.
Yes, sir. Houston Texans could be hosting a home playoff game as an underdog. Very well could be to
Yeah.
start the wild card round. Looking for them to get right in the first half, at least. Houston Texans first half plus a half, as Josh just mentioned, is our 3-unit only play this week. Josh, we do have our last anytime touchdown parlay for the regular season. Who are you going with here?
All right, I am going with Justin Jefferson, which is I'm going to the highest scoring, the highest total I believe of the year, highest total I've seen in quite some time in the NFL. I think this is sitting at 56 right now. I think that thing made its way up to 58 and a half at one point. Unbelievable. Yeah, Justin Jefferson against this Detroit Lions defense that is a major reason for concern, major cause for concern heading into the playoffs. This Detroit Lions defense, specifically the secondary, if you are still confident in the Detroit Lions as Super Bowl favorites here, Super Bowl contenders, like wow, that good on you. You got some great belief there on your side. But for me, no, I think there's a lot of cause for concern for the Detroit Lions secondary here. This is a game where both offenses, I believe, are going to have a ton of opportunity to move the ball. You won't catch me taking the under in this game, even though I was kind of leaning toward that when I saw the opening lines, but won't catch me taking the under in this game. And I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the show. But we got Justin Jefferson in this one. He'll get in on the action at some point here, even though they're going to be double, triple teaming him, all that stuff. But Jay Jettis, anytime.
All right. My play is going to be pretty straightforward. I'm going with the King, Derrick Henry. Your decimal odds on this are only going to be times 1.4 at the time of recording this, but when you pair that in the parlay with Jefferson, you can get some juice there. Ravens, obviously, a lot to play for with the division still up for grabs on Saturday. And if you're an incentive guy, you're looking for a little extra boost. Henry is 1 touchdown away from a $500,000 bonus. So why not? Let's go with Derrick Henry and Justin Jefferson, our last anytime touchdown parlay of the regular season, recapping our only play this week. Houston Texans first half plus a half for 3 units, 4-1 run plus 10.5 units, plus 10.6 units, pardon me, last 2 weeks. Looking to keep that going here, Josh. Folks, if you appreciate the run we're on, looking at a little bit of a heat check here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below. Let us know you're rocking with the fellas. And Josh, the next time we see the fine faithful, we'll be talking some playoff ball here.
Woo! Yeah, looking forward to it, man. And yeah, stay locked on our X account as well. I mean, I doubt that we're going to be releasing anything on X, but there are 3 other games, 3 other plays that I've kind of highlighted that Maybe, just maybe, potentially on game day, we look at, but again, I doubt it. But feel free to tune over to the X account there at TJC Bets just to make sure that we didn't release anything.
Yes, sir. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to the people. Folks, we'll see you here on YouTube for the playoff first week show. I'm sure we'll have some action in there. We always do. So keep it locked here, and we will see you. Best of luck this week. And yeah, take it easy.
Derek?